Hi guys, it's us again. Today is Friday, June 28th,
27th.
our third full day in London.
Yeah.
So we're just going to go over what we did today and more tips and tricks for your future travels in London.
Yes.
So we started off today, headed to the Imperial War Rooms.
No? Churchill War Rooms.
Churchill War Rooms, which is part of the Imperial War Rooms.
Museum,
mm-hmm. Yes.
There's several branches in London, but yeah, we decided to go and pay the £16 online fee for the Churchill War Rooms. You pay more if you wait until you get to the site. Something we learned about that today is that you should definitely show up in the morning because right around noon it gets really busy.
Well, probably all morning, but yeah.
And so, yeah, definitely show up earlier and try and get there before the crowds. And it's a pretty small, confined space down there.
Mm-hmm.
And so you definitely might feel a little claustrophobic if you get there midday. So,
yes. But yeah, it was a really awesome place. We spent 2.5 or close to 3 hours there.
Yeah.
Going through it.
With a free audio guide.
Yeah, that included a free audio guide.
Mm-hmm.
So you tour the underground bunker war rooms that Churchill used
and his staff
in the Second World War.
Mm-hmm.
And then also there's a museum dedicated to Winston Churchill, kind of in between, halfway through the war rooms. So that's kind of the two things you get to see down there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really great because I'm into World War II history a lot. So.
Yeah, definitely worth the amount we paid for it, for sure. Yeah, it was great, and you just learn a lot, and free audio guides. We weren't really expecting that, so that was definitely kind of an extra.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And then from there we headed over to King's Cross,
where we took a picture with the the trolley, I should say, going through platform 9 3/4. Warning, there is a long line, and it's kind of not worth it.
Yeah, it's not very authentic.
Yeah.
But yes, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a
Harry Potter fan site, basically.
Yes.
And unless you
located in a train and underground station, which is a really big station.
Gigantic.
The
it's
station
super
itself
cool.
is very cool.
Yeah. So if you want to go there, it could be worth it if you're really, interested in seeing one of the biggest stations in London. So yeah, it's not really worth it unless you're like 12 years old and willing to wait in a super long line. And maybe go to the gift shop also.
Yes, or it's really your thing, but...
Yeah, or it's really your thing. And we got the picture, so...
We did it.
We did it. And then we went to lunch in this public square that was just really cool, and I don't think it's really that well known. It's in between...
It was north of the
London
King's
Channel.
Cross. North of King's Cross, and you cross over the London Channel.
Yeah.
To this like public green space, basically.
Yeah. There's some really great seating areas, and then there were some really good food booths, I guess you could call them.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost farmer's market setup.
Yeah.
But yeah, some really cool like local food.
Yeah, and great prices, pretty cheap. We had a deviled pork shoulder sandwich with
£6.5.
Yeah, and it was really filling, and it sounds kind of scary, but it's pretty good. We enjoyed it, and it's right next to the British Library, so we headed over there right after that, and we got to see they call it the treasures of the British Library. There's just a big room with a collection of historical documents, and it's really incredible. I mean, there's so much in there. It's free to go in. Even though it's a library, people can get kind of loud. They don't let you take pictures. They will scold you. Found that out. But there's, manuscripts from back in the 1300s. And there's, like an original manuscript, or the last surviving manuscript of Beowulf. There's some Shakespeare. There's a little more recent. Yeah.
Lots of really awesome composers, like
Yeah.
original.
And a little bit more recent, the Beatles, some things that they wrote on backs of napkins and things, which is pretty cool. Some maps, some really amazing sacred texts, lots of original copies
Bibles
papyrus copies of
papyrus.
papyrus. I don't know how to say it. Copies of Exodus. There's a lot of really great stuff in there.
Yeah, and it was really well designed too. And another thing about the Winston Churchill Museum, it was also a very cool design. I think it was really
Set up.
Yeah, I think it was either, I don't know if it was opened recently or just remodeled recently, but it's very modern and very kind of high-tech looking, which is really cool.
Yeah, definitely very cool.
But yes, so we spent a little time in the British Library checking out those things.
Yep. The Magna Carta is also there.
Yes.
I think it's like circa 1413 or 1513 or something, but it costs money to see it.
Yeah, we were under the impression
that it would have
free.
been included in like.
But yes, you have to pay. They wanted
£12 per person. Yeah. So
to go see the Magna Carta.
We didn't pay it. Yeah, we got to see a lot of really other cool things. So
yeah.
And then we actually decided to head home through King's Cross Station after that. One thing we learned today is that you really need to pace yourself when you're doing a big trip like this. You have to kind of think in long term, to make sure that you're not completely worn out for your next stop. And
we turned in early, headed home about 4, and we had been heading home at 7 or 7:30.
Yeah.
Just because we're kind of tired.
Yeah, and we've been staying in an Airbnb a little bit outside of the city. I think we've mentioned that a couple times, and it's just been a really pleasant experience. It's pretty quiet out here, and
we're out in the suburbs.
Yeah, we're out in the suburbs, and as far as Airbnb goes, I give it a thumbs up, 5 stars. It's awesome.
Well, this place, you never know.
This place, that's true.
Yeah.
So far, the experience has been really positive. So, yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna turn in early tonight. We're headed for another big day tomorrow, and actually switching rooms. So we gotta pack up our packs and trek them across London, which will be. But yeah. So that was our day in a nutshell, and thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Those of you who are, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Love for today.